Okay. Cool. God. Literally just fucking recorded an hour of me talking. And yeah, I found out I actually didn't press record. It's wonderful. I know a lot of people do that who record YouTube videos, so I guess that's kind of a, kind of an entry fee, right? Okay, we're still going. Okay, just making sure. Awesome, wonderful. Well, yeah, so hey there. My name is Michael. I'm 24. I do door-to-door sales. Reason I'm making this video is just to introduce to the world and also document my own developments in becoming a business owner and just my own growth as a salesperson and as just someone who is dedicated to what they do. Apart from that, roughly a year ago, I was a fucking loser, had no professional prospects, but through reading a book called The Algebra of Wealth by Scott Galloway, found out that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you should just start as a salesperson. So then I started working in door-to-door sales, and before I did that, I crafted an operating system with ChatGPT from which I would live my life by called Echo Origin. Okay, and what is Echo Origin? Echo Origin is simply an operating system that controls both your inputs as well as your outputs. So the habits that you do on a daily basis are conducive and compound over time for you to be the person that you need to be in order for you to achieve the goal that you want to achieve. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't go to college. I didn't do anything worthwhile with my time. The reason I think this all accumulated over time into a catalyst moment for me to like develop this system. Okay, it's like, how do I make success as inevitable as I can? Okay, well, why don't I just literally change every single decision that I'm doing on a daily basis, moment to moment, so I stack the odds as much as I can in my favor. And really, that's what it came down to. In middle school, high school, didn't do really shit with my life. I was a fucking druggie in high school. After that, I, spent most of my days just playing video games, going out, fucking, trying to hook up with any chicks that I could. Doing drugs, and that kind of accumulated into me then becoming 23 and being like, damn, I, haven't done anything with my fucking life. I know I want more. However, I'm not doing anything. What the fuck is going on here? Okay, so then, I sat down with ChatGPT. Well, cool, let's build this operating system called Echo Origin. It was much more organic than how I'm presenting it to be, of course. But yeah, then I discarded all the destructive habits that were just having me drift, and then replaced those with things that were more productive, and then would over time develop the shape and performance habits that I needed to develop in order to achieve the goals that I wanted to. So fast forward a year, top rep in my company, a door-to-door team lead. I manage a door-to-door sales team while also booking meetings and setting appointments for myself. On the side, aspiring entrepreneur. So I also build a business in the morning, do sales work for my company during the day, come home, prioritize recovery, repeat, build, sell, train, recover, repeat. This is all just a framework, and it can apply to any sort of profession that you want to, which is why I'm kind of sharing this. Like this is an operating system that can be applied regardless of what you want to do, and regardless of what you want to do, it will make your likelihood of success. It'll 10x that likelihood, make it much more likely, right? Which is, of course, all we want to do. The reason why we do the things that we want to do is so we can get to where we want to be. If you want to become an artist, you should install the Echo Origin operating system into your psyche and your day-to-day habits, like I have done for myself. And yeah, if you want to be a doctor, whatever, scientist, you should live in this way. Firm rules are always going to be much more reliable than balance. And if you feel that you need video games to decompress, you actually don't. What you don't you don't desire video games. What you desire is the state change from video games. And guess what? You can train your body to achieve that state change with a different habit. You just need to do it over time and not be such a pussy. Cool. Well, we will go back to the bottom of the slideshow here. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, Echo Origin. Just don't mind the fucking cringy slideshow. This is made through ChatGPT in like 30 seconds, but it does its job and it goes over all the key points that I want to with what this operating system is and the principles it holds. Cool. So yeah, your reward system learns whatever you repeatedly reward. So if you are constantly engaging in novelty-seeking, passive content, substances avoidance, that is what your reward system will naturally crave over time. And what you will find is that all produces a much smaller life that hasn't amounted into anything. Which is, most people's lives, especially if you're my age and you're a Zoomer. Yeah, that's kind of your life. You just go on TikTok every day. You fucking go work at Starbucks. Maybe you tried college, dropped out, didn't really amount to much. Now you go home, watch Netflix, scroll on TikTok for about 5 to 6 hours a day, and then you go to bed. And then 5 to 10 years from now, you're going to be very dissatisfied with where you're at in the same way I was, which is why I'm making this video, so you can change your life and actually do something worthwhile. And then you can either do effortless reward and have that life that I just spoke of, or you can center your life around earned reward, which is, for me, focused work. And that can pertain to any type of career. For me, pertains to sales rep. So, my morning routine consists of me pitching in front of the mirror 10 minutes at a time. And then obviously my day job is door-to-door sales. So, I have hundreds of conversations a week, and all of that accumulates to me becoming the person that I want to be, further solidifying the identity I've already developed over the past year, and then allowing myself to move in the direction that I want to be, which is a sales-led business founder. Training as well, earned reward, it's training. Training is not always going to be the thing that you want to be doing in a particular moment. However, the fruits of training is what is going to allow you to move in the direction that you want to, right? So it's delayed reward, right? It's reward that you don't get immediately, but after doing is much more fulfilling and will compound into something much more meaningful and significant. System shift. So I develop a SaaS company. I've developed a SaaS company, and some of the earned reward that is not going to be totally satisfying in the moment is building the products and everything. But those are the things that you need to do in order for you to develop the identity that is going to carry you into accomplishing the goals that you want. Cool. Repeated action becomes evidence. Evidence becomes identity. So these are all things that play into each other. Your actions, what you do, turn into the evidence of your life, what you can prove that you have done. That all solidifies into your default state, who you are and who you will be becoming. Right. So if you were like me 3 years ago and just literally did nothing, just lived moment to moment, all right, your actions would probably consist of, going on TikTok, fucking scrolling, then maybe watching a Twitch stream for 4 hours, and then eating, whatever shitty fucking food, like from McDonald's, and then maybe you'd hit a fucking dab pen, get high, play League of Legends. All right. If you do that day to day, the evidence of your life is okay. You are someone who wastes time. Yeah, I just like to enjoy myself, man. I'm pretty relaxed, dude. I like playing video games and stuff like that, and that's who you become. And then it's much harder to break out of those habits because that is the default state that you have solidified with your actions. So you can either live like that or have what you do be things that are delayed in gratification. So, you wake up, you run in the morning. Okay. From there, you come home, you meditate, whatever it is. Okay. After you meditate, you start working on your desired business, or you begin working on your art. Okay. From there, you go ahead and do your day job. Okay. You get home, awesome, wonderful. Now you're prioritizing your sleep, so you can go ahead and do those things that I just mentioned at a much better state the next day. Okay, so then you're prioritizing your sleep. So what does that look like? You get home, you eat. Fuck me. Hold on, give me 1 second here. Yeah. Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, okay, understood. How long is that going to take, roughly? Okay, yeah, here you go. Yeah, so don't mind me. I'm kind of just recording a video here, so just do your thing.
Yeah, because you have to lift a little bit when you lock it.
Do you need me for this? Do you need me for this?
No.
No. Okay, cool.
Just no, you have to just. I'll show you how to lock it. You have to put it out so that way it doesn't.
Okay.
This. Okay. Yeah, so that's the way you lock.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just try to lock.
Wonderful. Well, that's that.
Yeah, it's
super easy. All right. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate
it.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Well, don't mind the interruption there. I'm not editing any of this because I cannot give a fuck. Okay. Yeah. So you get home, you eat, you shower, and then you begin journaling. You read because you're prioritizing your wind down, your sleep quality, and then all of that, if you do that on a day-to-day basis, turns into the evidence, what you can prove from your life. And that evidence then solidifies into the identity. Okay, now as you continue to do that, you become the person who is cognizant of their actions, who is intentional with their actions based on where they want to go, based on the goal you want to achieve. Okay, so it's like a feedback loop. All of that hardens into a very strong identity over time, and then it's much easier to then commit and do those actions on a daily basis. Then you get even more evidence for all the actions that you've done in the past. And then all that turns into an even stronger identity. And then 10 years from now, the gap between you and your peers is so far, it's not comparable. Right? And you're probably going to be a lot more successful. Most likely, you may also die randomly and get hit by a car. But, let's assume that doesn't happen. You're probably going to be much more successful in your lane compared to the people who have not lived with that in mind. Okay, so yeah. And the only way you're going to do that is by reducing the competition for your attention, right? So your attention is everything. Your attention determines what you focus on. What you focus on determines what the decisions are that you make on a daily basis. So yeah, if you want to do something worthwhile, if you want to be intentional with your actions so you can reach the place that you want to reach in the medium to long term, you need to remove the things that steal your attention, right, from your goal, which is passive consumption, which are YouTube videos and Netflix documentaries and bullshit like that, which is weed, things that fucking diminish your state, diminish your cognition, your ability to perform at a high level. I know all you fucking stoners out there will say, hey man, weed makes me get in the groove, and it makes me it relax, makes me more creative. And hey, yeah, no, you're right, honestly. Depending on the work that you do, weed might actually be very conducive for the lane and the goal that you want to achieve. But like, all of this determines on your particular goal. It's all dependent on where you want to be, and the person that you want to turn into. So yeah. However, if you're in business though, like myself, if you're in sales, if you're in something where your cognition, where your decision making is extremely critical in the situations that you're going to be in, then no, you probably should remove weed, because it's going to diminish those capabilities, as well as alcohol, as well as nicotine. These are all things that lower your baseline mood. Okay, It is much easier to do hard things when your baseline mood is higher. So get rid of that. Get rid of all these things. All right. Cool. I remove all these things in service for this. 10K a month, Alpine Agent, my business in revenue, MLR. And yeah, this is transferable. This can be, anything dependent on, based on your goal. Yeah, 5 systems reinforce into one another. These all play into I sustain and take care of my body so I can sustain the output in my business as well as in my day job, sales. Adaptation keeps the system alive. But yeah, this is all pretty self-explanatory. The 3 pillars of my life: business, body, sales, they all feed into each other. Sales makes it much easier, develops muscle for me to develop my business as a sales-led founder. And then my body allows me to go into my sales day much more equipped for higher performance because I've taken care of my body the day prior, and all of that just feeds into each other. Cool. The day is structured to make execution repeatable, right? So this is also very transferable depending on the day or the goal that you want for your life, right? So for myself, I do my morning routine, which is 10 minutes of meditation, then mirror pitches, and then I develop my business for 2 to 4 hours a day, depending on the day. And then I go into my day job where I earn my income and my right to build my business, which is door-to-door sales for Endeavor Exteriors. I do that for about 8 to 9 hours. Cool. Then I get home and recover from all of that. And I place a lot of importance on recovery so I can show up in the morning as well as the day in the best shape possible. And you would do the same for yourself. Cool. Intentions do not enter the scoreboard. All of this comes with tracking. So at the end of each week, I will record myself tracking all my measurable output so we can see how close I am getting to my goal based on the output, and then tweak and adjust from there. So yeah, for Alpine Agent, it would be outreach, how many cold calls, how many demos I presented, how many systems I've shipped. For Endeavor, it would be how many doors, how many conversations, how many deals. For my body, it would be workouts, runs, sleep, my recovery, all of that. Measurement closes the loop every week. So yeah, you commit, then you execute, and then you measure, and then you see where that got you, and then you adjust. That's what I'm going to do with my spreadsheet. That's what you should do as well if you have a defined goal that you want to reach in the medium to long term. Yeah, the alternative is still discomfort. It's just delayed. So yeah, if you choose not to do this and you want to get to a particular place in the long run, everyone wants a great life, dude. Everyone wants a lot of money. Most people. Everyone wants recognition. Everyone wants status. Everyone wants progression, right? Ultimately, these are all things that hit on a very primal desire. And, the alternative for choosing discomfort is also just delayed discomfort, right? If you would rather smoke that cigarette, go out with your friends, not do the work or the training on a day-to-day basis, cool. However, all of that will compound into less progression over time. And if you do enough of it, it will compound into a substantially smaller life. So I do not recommend living that way and instilling that origin operating system instead, so you can compound into capability and a much more meaningful life. Cool. This is the origin. Everything you do now echoes. Cringy tagline. However, it's very prevalent and relevant for Echo Origin. Once you get rid of everything that is constantly bombarding you on a day-to-day basis, that is constantly looking to steal your attention and your time, so you can fill the pockets of others. What you are left with is your origin. From there, all your actions at that point echo into the field or the person that you want to become. For me, it's building, it's selling, it's training, it's recovering, and then it's repeating. and then enjoying the fruits of my labor, enjoying the places that, this type of lifestyle and framework reaches. So that's really it. Cool. Hopefully you can apply some of that if you're watching this to some of your own goals and everything. This is a very extreme philosophy, and it's a very extreme operating system. If I was to install this in someone else's life, it would feel very invasive. However, we live in very extreme and invasive times. Like, you have people that are constantly, systems, companies that are constantly bombarding you on your phone. You may not feel like it's invasive because you're used to it at this point, but these are companies and algorithms that are looking to steal 5 to 6 hours out of your day, so you can, stay on their platforms, right? So you can fill their own pockets, right? They're stealing your time, and as entities in this world, you probably have your own life that you want to live, but unfortunately, you're not able to live it because you're having all this time stolen from you. And really, it's a matter of awareness. So, this video is also bringing awareness to some of those things, and calling to action for you to place some barricades from those things so you can live more intentionally, and live in a way that will get you closer to where you want to be in the life that would actually be fulfilling in the long run. But cool. Have a great day, and yeah.